Morning, wherever you are and wherever you're watching this. And I'm going to do a quick tech check just to make sure that we are, in effect, live. And yes, we are. So, in today's live stream and video, I'm going to talk about obtaining a healthy body image and how to love yourself inside and out. Have you ever thought that you struggled or had contemplated that you struggle with your own body image? I too have faced this issue, challenge, or problem down the years, and you wouldn't expect that. I'll link that post in the comments for you to go ahead and read if you so wish to at your own leisure. How do you feel about your body affects your confidence, your overall self-esteem, self-concept, and then obviously, finally, your own personal value of your own self? It's hard to feel okay about how you feel about yourself when we're constantly inundated and presented with images on TV, the internet, magazines, with a depiction of people are either too thin or have been digitally enhanced to mask their flaws. So it's an unrealistic and an idea of perfection that's being portrayed. So obviously, it's going to have a knock-on effect on obtaining a healthy body in regards to that, and to love yourself inside and out. As a result, when everywhere that you look is showcasing a falsity of what that looks like. I don't need to tell you that you already know the importance of loving yourself for the person you are. You all know everybody is made differently, but more importantly, beautifully in their own way. Sure, beauty can be different, or your specific beauty in comparison to a fashion model, an influencer, etc. But you're still beautiful to the core. Once you come to terms in accepting that for yourself, you'll be a happier person. So what you need to do, and this is where, depending on where it's coming from, so say majority of, I'm not going to say a gender, but as if you're a more empathetic person, you're going to put your needs second. So you need to focus on yourself first. I know it's going to be hard at first, but you need to set a precedent that your needs need to come first. When you start to learn to love yourself inside and out, we need to work from the inside first, or be it the conversation I had on a podcast last night, from the roots up. And I'm going to mention 4 chakras. Yeah, 3 or 4. Obviously, the one that is the root of all chakras is around the genitals, and that's the first one. The second one is around your sacrum, so just below your belly button. And then I'm going to reference 3, not 4, I'll reference 3. And then obviously the third one would be your heart. And all these have specific colors related to them. But in order to be able to grow as an individual and to accept and to love oneself, you need to have good foundations. And this is going a level deeper than, say, a body transformation. that most people perceive as the neck down, whereas a blockchain is going to start that way up. But if we start from the very, very bottom and create good foundations, we can build upon, obviously, what does I can't speak. What the chakras talk about is the third eye, and then obviously divinity above that. You can't look to be able to push beyond into those realms without first laying solid foundations. But simply put it, we must learn and work on changing the way we think about beauty, the way that we look about self-care, self-love, because at the end of the day, no one's absolutely perfect. I'm not saying you can't achieve excellence, but this 100% is a fallacy. It's not possible because you can't turn up every single day and be 100% day in day out. It's just not possible. There's always going to be something that you particularly don't like about yourself, but it doesn't have to come at or negate the fact that you are beautiful, or you are attractive, you are good looking. Because it's certainly no reason to be unhappy in life over it, or as a result of how you view a flaw. Shift your focus into something that you do like about yourself, and try having faith in humanity. If you are a people watcher, and I know I am, I do like watching how people interact in society and listen and watch. Are you constantly pointing out everybody's flaws? Chances are you're not. Obviously, if you, I know I used to. I don't do it so much anymore because obviously it's very hypocritical to do that, and then you don't work on your own flaws. You probably wouldn't judge your friends about their imperfections, so why should you be so hard on yourself? At the end of the day, you're uniquely you. Once we've worked on our inner feelings, we can then move on to loving ourselves on the outside. This is probably where the fitness industry obviously got things backwards, but that's slowly changing to work on obviously the training aspect, and the nutrition is on the external. But if you don't work on the internal, as how you view yourself, how you view your feelings, what's your relationship with food, these things are still going to come back and bite you in the backside in the future if you don't deal with them. Unfortunately, in today's society, people feel ashamed of what they look like, to the point of obviously resorting to procedures and surgeries to make them feel good about themselves. Don't be fooled. You don't need to go to that extent to feel good about yourself. You can make changes if you have a problem like acne or weight gain, but there are also things that can't change, like having wide hips, freckles, and things of that nature. The best thing you can do is to embrace yourself for the unique individual that you are. Obviously, that took me some time to do that myself, because I had my own, I'll call it an ordeal. It's not really an ordeal. Would come into terms with my disability. For those that don't know, I was born with my disability. So I spent a good proportion of my preteens and teens wanting to be normal like everybody else that I knew. And once I fully embraced the uniqueness that is me for having a disability and not assuming that people would view me any differently by having a disability, I was obviously to be able to live my life that I truly was. I'm not going to say blessed, but as in it's opened so many doors and created so many opportunities for me to have as a result of having it. So I embrace it like with both hands now. Obviously, in my 20s and closing in on my 40s in a few years' time. But coming back to today, after all, there's no one else on this planet quite like you, and I think people need to remember that. In terms of we are inherently different in so many ways, and that's what makes us unique and what makes us the individual that we are. So making changes in a healthy way, if you wish to make changes in your appearance, you certainly can do so. You just need to do it for the right reasons. You might need to lose weight in order to get back into a health range. That could be to do with your body fat percentage. That could be to do with your BMI. Two different distinct things that I have touched upon before, that I can obviously share in the comments if people would be willing to, and I can link to that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to change your hair color every now and then either. Variety is the spice of life after all, even though my coach doesn't agree with that. But for some people, they're tempted to go too far and to do things like losing too much weight. They convince themselves that even a healthy weight is fat. So this is what's called body dysmorphia. And they strive to be underweight. And they're not at fault for doing this because if a magazine's telling you that's what perfect looks like, if a social media is telling you that's what perfect looks like, if the media is telling you what perfect looks like, the person's gonna seek out to represent those ideas and ideology. But for your own health, it's important to avoid these types of problems. If you're stuck in a situation, you find you like this, you find yourself in. Yeah. You need to explore the reason why you feel this way, and you might want to discuss it with a with a with a with a professional, obviously mental health professional, because we're talking about going down the lines of anorexia and bulimia potentially. Passing on a healthy body image. So this is obviously to other people. If you've got children, it's passing on a good example of what that looks like. The way the media portrays beauty is truly outrageous, and everyone should be doing their part to promote beauty in an undistorted form. As I mentioned, if you've got children, teach them that they're beautiful just the way they are. Since children learn by example, they're very much like sponges. Ensure that you never put yourself down in front of them. Avoid complaining about your body because they might overhear and you might inadvertently teach them something you never intended to teach. A healthy body is something that we can all strive towards. You'll make somebody or some other's day just by giving them a compliment. That could be a friend, that could be a family member, it could be a colleague. Because at the end of the day, everybody likes to get compliments every now and again. And you just might make somebody's day. Let's see. Let's share this. Appreciate that, Stu, and thanks for joining live. Something we all need to learn more is to love ourselves exactly as we are. And obviously, I've sat down with Stu a lot, and I actually talked about him on a recent podcast that I was on, about if you get a chance, go and see Stuart's Facebook page, because you wouldn't expect him to. I'm going to call him the primordial giant. He's like the friendly. He's almost like the BFG inside my circle, because you wouldn't assume for him to have issues of confidence, issues of self-esteem, as somebody that's built like a house, 6 foot plus. You would assume that he's like this big macho dude. So if you get a chance to speak with him, you can see it from a different perspective. So I appreciate that, Stu, for you sharing. So I hope you've enjoyed today's live. Let me know in the comments, and I've done it again. If you're watching on the replay and we've got this far, don't forget to put #replay. You guys have a lovely Friday. Have a nice weekend. I might see some of you again tomorrow. So until the next time, all right, all the best. Take care.